So last, the orange man is inviting or begging or pleading, as far as I'm concerned, because that black woman cannot just come there if they did not beg her. So last, the orange man is begging a black woman to come intercede, direct, or anything literally about this Iran and Israel war, allegedly. You see why I keep saying that? If you like, pretend. If you like, act as if you are strong. There is nowhere you can go without the knowledge of Black Americans. Look at the cultures now. Look at the food. Look at the music. Look at the jazz. Look at the blues. Are they not the ones that are influencing every single thing that the world generally are enjoying and then taking credit to themselves? Last, even if this black woman literally brought out all of the ideas and he finally conquered, he will come up and be like, I did it. And the black woman will be enraged. But, anyways, let's go watch. Welcome to my channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. And credits belong to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. And I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. With that being said, let's roll out the clips. I'll be back with commentaries. For disclaimers, this is for educational purposes only. Let's go watch.
Breaking news. I couldn't wait to share this story with you. Donald Trump is calling on a black woman to help him get out of the mess he's created in Iran. That's right. Donald Trump, the man who has attacked every black person with expertise in his administration, who's taken rank away from black generals, saying they only achieved their rank by DEI. The same man who took black history books from the military libraries. Well, today, a CNN reporter saw Condoleezza Rice quietly entering the White House. If you're not old enough to remember, Condoleezza Rice was the national security advisor during the period of 9/11, the Iraq War, under George W. Bush. Now, she's not a Fox News host. She's not a social media influencer like most of the people in Trump's cabinet. She happens to have a PhD in political science and is considered a brilliant person when it comes to the understanding of foreign affairs and geopolitics. So all of Trump's influencers are not very helpful in this situation. So it turns out that he needed to connect to a black person with expertise, which just seemed to me the ultimate irony for all he's done to try to discredit people. And for those of you who might be stumbling on this video, who think the war is going well in Iran, please take a look at another video I posted today. Colin Powell's chief of staff gives an eye-opening assessment of what the mainstream media or any media in the United States is not telling us. I think you'll be surprised. That's the video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.
Ooh. Who's that lady, y'all? Y'all know who that lady is? I know some of you old heads know who that is, but you young heads, that's Condoleezza Rice with Trump. They didn't call in Condoleezza Rice, y'all, into this situation. They got themselves in a little situation. And they done looked around the White House and they realized there's not one competent person in that White House. And they know they're in a situation with this whole Iran thing. So that was a mayday call. They called in Condoleezza Rice from the Bush administration, an extremely competent, extremely intelligent black lady. I'm glad they called in some competence, but I'm afraid it was a mayday call. So I'm afraid by this. Why did they have to call in Condoleezza Rice? I mean, we all know there's not one competent person in that White House. So I'm glad that they know that they needed somebody with some brains in there. But I'm also afraid that this was a Mayday call. Condoleezza Rice was seen at the White House at the end of last week, y'all, because of this Iran situation. They know they're in some trouble. They might be trying to project some damn confidence in front of our faces, but there's a reason why they called in Condoleezza Rice. Watch this space.
Guess who was just pictured walking into the White House? You won't believe this. Condoleezza Rice, George W. Bush's national security advisor during the 2003 Iraq War. Now, this is a big deal because the Trump administration is trying to put on this brave face that, oh, everything's great. We don't care that Russia's helping Iran target us. We don't care about the billions of dollars of irreplaceable radars, having lost 4 and we only have 10 in the world. On and on and on. The global economic catastrophe that's just hanging over our heads any second to drop. And they're bringing in someone who Trump typically would attack. Somebody's like a neocon, the old establishment, blah, 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 rhino for sure. This is how you know things aren't going well. They're worried. They're concerned. Don't listen to the ego and the bravado that comes out of their mouths. Just look at the facts on the ground.
Oh, hey, you guys. Guess what happened? Oh, you won't believe it. Trump had to call in the cavalry. He called in the cavalry. Guess who showed up at the White House? He walked up to her, shook her hand, rubbed her on the shoulder, and he escorted her back to his office. Condoleezza Rice. Oh my God, Miss Condoleezza. The expert on Russia and the Middle East. She was Bush's, y'all remember back in I think 2009, she was Bush's national security advisor. She know her shit. So I guess this war that Trump has started is not going the way he expected it to go. Guess who he called in? Yeah, he had to call in the GOAT. He called in Condoleezza to help him out. I know he's getting advice. I know he's trying to figure out how to fix this shit, how to get it right, what to do, because he don't have nobody, not one person that can get this right. None of the people that work for him that are in his, they're not experts in none of this shit. They barely got their degrees. Don't know shit about shit. But he gave her a beautiful escort into his office. Let's see what she has to say, or what she's going to do, or how much she needs to dig him out of this shit. But I was so glad to see her, and she looked good. I hate that she got to be here because she's supposed to be chilling on the beach somewhere, enjoying her life, not doing this bullshit. But if anybody can do it, if anybody can get some intel, if anybody can advise to be on some intel, it would be her.
Colin Powell is dead. So is Dick Cheney and Donald Rumsfeld. The only 2 people that are still alive that had anything to do directly with the war in Iraq are George W. Bush and Condoleezza Rice. Recently, Condoleezza Rice was seen at the White House, and Trump has referenced her personally. Condoleezza Rice is a powerhouse as far as foreign policy goes. In the 1980s, she was a nuclear strategist and a foreign relations strategist as well. She speaks fluent Russian, and in addition to that, she has direct involvement in both North Korea and Iran. Also, Condoleezza Rice knows what it's like to wage war on 2 fronts, being in the Afghan war and the Iraq war, especially recently with Trump's statements towards Cuba. The Trump administration obviously doesn't know what they're doing, and they don't have a long-term strategy for Iran. It also means that as Americans, we could probably prepare to go into Iran, since they are calling in literally the only person that could give them guidance on a long-term war. Are you scared yet? I am.
Because ultimately she's there like Omarosa would be there. What exactly is she being brought in to, provide advisement on? It'll be interesting to see how other political commentators comment on her inclusion in the conversations right now. I think it'll also be interesting to hear her perspective, how she viewed either her experience or just, her thoughts, because I remember how problematic she was. and really just continues to be, you know? So I have been looking at kind of diverse perspectives, specifically from Black women on Condoleezza Rice at this point, because I think it's pretty interesting to see how Black women are, you know, kind of cheering her inclusion on. Like it seems like in the comment section and people who are posting videos, you know, that they're excited that she's there. They're saying things like, you know, Black women to the rescue. A Black woman always has to come in and save the day. You know, Condoleezza Rice has so many accomplishments, you know, and things like that. But I'm like, what is it that y'all think that she is going to do as it relates to saving something? Like, what is the context that you're putting out there about what it is that she, like, what her role is? And I just hope that we are able to, as Black women, have more of a critical lens around Black women in politics specifically, and also really deconstructing what inclusion and representation, what that means, and like when and how that's activated.
Hey, Condi. Yeah, Condoleezza. Why are you going to the White House? What are you doing? Is it a fundraiser? Are you there to smell his farts? What's the deal, girl? Why are you there? The architect of the Iraq War. What's going on, girl? You going scorched earth? Well, we're about to. We are so about to. $2 billion worth of military assets lost in 3 or 4 days. That's pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Y'all were not prepared for this because your ego got in the way. Because poor planning is how you plan. You don't actually look at all options. You don't look at all outcomes. You just simply run. Like y'all did to the polls for cheaper eggs, lower gas prices, and no war. And here we are. China's aligning with Iran. Russia's aligning with Iran. Kiss your children goodbye. Good day.
Condoleezza Rice is something else. She has nothing to say about Trumpism and fascism, but she dresses up to go to Washington to tell Trump to finish off Iran. I guess she likes everything that's going on, except perhaps that Trump won't finish off Iran.
Donald Trump posting monkey pictures of the Obamas and then having to reach out to a Black woman to fix this Iran situation is one of the best get backs I've ever seen. God knows how to get them. Condoleezza Rice may be a Republican, and you know, I grew up with her. I disagreed with her, some of her philosophy, but she is the kind of Republican that is not an extremist. Most importantly, she believes in democracy. And as you can see here, I wanted to post this specifically because she was warning of the perils of isolationism, which Trump is basically doing with his international policies. Donald Trump is isolating this nation by being hostile towards all of our allies and all of these surrounding nations. And I don't want to hear it because I already know every problematic thing that she has been behind and done. But for right now, we need to protect us and the land that we're on if we don't want to end up like those folks over there. And this is what I'm saying. Whenever there's a problem to be fixed, they call on a Black woman, but we're not good enough to be elected to our nation's highest offices. Y'all constantly want to use our ingenuity and our labor, but never reward us with being in an actual position of power. Well, I pray that she gets this resolved, because as a farmer, I can't afford no $6 and $7 gas. It is what it is. What do y'all think? Leave your thoughts in the comments and please like and share.
Okay, we need to rally the troops, and we need to get a hold of Condoleezza Rice and get Condoleezza Rice to run against Donald Trump in the midterms. We need to. It's not too late. We need to get Condoleezza Rice and call her up. Say, yo, Connie, come and run against Donald Trump. We need you, girl. We need you bad. And we could all throw money behind her and get her going. You know, we could get her in there. Condoleezza Rice would be an awesome president. What do you think? I think it's a great idea. God loves you. I love you.
Well, if you're wondering how serious this whole Iran business is, baby, word on the street is Condoleezza Rice was seen entering the White House. We know what was going on the last time that happened, so yeah, shout out to the United States military. Good luck to them guys and gals. Yeah, that's all I got. Thank you for your service. I am just a girl. There's nothing I can fucking do if they come blow us off the map. I guess I'm just gonna be blown to smithereens. The worst way to get blown. It's above me now for real. But in case anybody wanted to update, that's what the fuck is going on in the United States of the Americas. Y'all have a good day. Because like I said, that's all we could do anyway.
So a black woman has to go to the White House to tell these white men who think they know everything how to do things. And that black woman is Condoleezza Rice. Now, yeah, a lot of people don't too care for her back when she was in office, but she knows her shit. Y'all don't want black women to run anything, be above anybody other than themselves, but yet y'all still need their help. They still need their help. And some people are saying, why did she even go there? Why is she go? Because she's not emotional and petty like these white men that's in office. But I bet you they won't call her any kind of names. Why? Because they need her, not her need them. Yeah, you still need a black woman at the end of the day.
I remember very vividly the run up to the Iraq War. I remember the Bush administration's fear mongering about the supposed threat of weapons of mass destruction from Saddam's Iraq. I remember Condoleezza Rice saying that we don't want the smoking gun to be a mushroom cloud.
There will always be some uncertainty about how quickly he can acquire a nuclear weapon, but we don't want the smoking gun to be a mushroom cloud.
I remember Colin Powell going to the United Nations and saying, look, we have definitive evidence that Saddam Hussein is producing a nuclear weapon.
Indeed, the facts and Iraq's behavior show that Saddam Hussein and his regime are concealing their efforts to produce more weapons of mass destruction.
Yellow cake and everything.
I got some yellow cake right here. Look, you see, you believe this shit now?
Don't drop that shit.
You know I know what to do with it. Well, I got it wrapped up in this special CIA napkin.
Don't drop that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, hope I don't drop this shit.
Pray to God you don't drop that shit.
And one thing I very much remember is how congressional Democrats at the time were terrified of being on the wrong side of the war. There was quite a bit of Democratic opposition to the first Gulf War back in 1990 and 1991, and Democrats got burned bad. So for this second Gulf War, and in this atmosphere where any kind of criticism of the Bush administration was enough to get you labeled a traitor to the United States or objectively pro-terrorist or some other nonsense such as that, so many congressional Democrats decided to take the path of absolute least resistance and support authorization for the use of military force in Iraq. Bush was just too popular. The public was just too much on his side. And it was a real act of courage at the time to oppose that war, to oppose the run-up to war, and to cast a ballot against the military force. Now, fast forward to the present, fast forward, 24 years, and another Republican president is trying to go to war in another Middle Eastern country, this time Iran, part of an axis of evil, and that president's already gone to war, already commenced the attack. There was no authorization for the use of military force. There was no run-up to war. There was no attempt to persuade the public. There's just a almost surprise attack on a Saturday morning. That has now embroiled the United States in a conflict which may become a regional war and has already promised to do real damage to the global and American economy. To say nothing of the thousands of Iranians who have been killed in the conflict thus far. The manner in which the war is taking place, the public's general war weariness, has meant that this is already a strikingly unpopular conflict, with public support almost coming exclusively from Republican voters.
Republicans have the majority in Congress, and although they have not passed any kind of authorization for military force, they do want to continue funding the conflict. They've already rejected an attempt to invoke the War Powers Act, and what's coming up is a bill to continue funding the conflict. The administration has asked for another $50 billion. I'll say here that last year, the Trump administration passed a piece of legislation, the One Beautiful Bill Act, crafted by congressional Republicans, opposed by all Democrats, that slashed public health insurance benefits and Medicaid, slashed the food assistance, slashed all kinds of programs for lower income people in order to funnel money to the wealthiest Americans. Now, that same administration is coming to Congress hat in hand for more money to prosecute what is an illegal war, what is an unpopular war, and what is an immoral war. And Democrats, not sure if they're going to support the funding bill. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries has not committed to whether he is going to push Democrats to oppose this new funding bill. And Chuck Schumer in the Senate has not committed to whether or not Democrats are going to try to block the funding bill in the Senate. I'm not often into giving political advice, but this is a place where I think that political advice is incredibly obvious. Incredibly obvious. And that is, you oppose the funding. This is not 2002. This is not 2003. This is not a case where the public is on board for a war. This is not a case where the administration has been able to successfully cultivate an atmosphere where opposition to its plans is treated as opposition to the country itself. No, the public doesn't like this war. This war is fracturing the Republican coalition. Not only is there no real political cost in opposing it, but there's quite likely a great political benefit in opposing it, in demonstrating to the public, as the Democratic Party, that you really do mean to curb and restrain and shackle this administration. It's not for nothing that Republican lawmakers themselves are trying to avoid even calling it a war. They understand how unpopular this is, and they're trying to work around it.
We are not at war. We have no intention of being at war.
And while some Democrats with an acute case of Congress brain might think that there is some value in strategic ambiguity here and not quite saying what you want to do, I think that's wrong. It's difficult to get messages to the public. It's difficult to get those messages to stick. And so if you want to get a message to stick, you have to say it often. You have to repeat it all the time. This is what Mamdani grasped correctly. This is what Trump grasped correctly in his first run for the White House. Build the wall. A simple slogan, easy to grasp. And Democrats have an easy slogan. End the war. It's very simple. Vote for us, and we'll end this war. And for now, at the very least, we'll oppose any funding that puts additional Americans in danger. It's simple. Now, obviously, there are some Democrats in Congress who are probably in favor of this conflict, but most actually aren't. When you look at the votes taken thus far, most Democrats oppose this. Most Democratic voters oppose this. This isn't the case of a party that is secretly in favor of the conflict. What it is a party that is deeply risk averse, deeply afraid of causing controversy, deeply afraid of instigating political conflict. It is a mindset that hasn't quite grasped that the currency of the realm in this era is actually the ability to generate political conflict, the ability to generate controversy, the ability to make a splash and then take command of the narrative having made that splash. So yeah, the smart thing to do, the obvious thing to do, is not just to oppose the war, but to oppose the funding. Let the administration have to defend its conduct. I can't think of a better political place for Democrats to be than forcing the White House's hand on its unpopular war.
If I should get out of bed, because I just learned that Condoleezza Rice is in the White House. Like, what? What? I'm in the wrong timeline.
Let's talk about one of the most unstoppable black women in history, Condoleezza Rice. You know her as the first black woman to serve as U.S. Secretary of State, but here's what you don't know. Condoleezza grew up in Birmingham, Alabama during the height of segregation. Her parents, both educators, believed education was the ultimate weapon against oppression. Her name? It's Italian for with sweetness. But don't let that fool you. This woman is fierce. Here's a fun fact. Condoleezza dreamed of being a concert pianist, and by the age of 3, she was mastering Mozart. Though she didn't pursue music professionally, she still jams out with the likes of Yo-Yo Ma. Yes, that Yo-Yo Ma. Rice is also a die-hard football fan and became a competitive figure skater as a teen. Talk about multitasking. Oh, and she's also a member of Augusta National Golf Club, the first black woman to join. Her career in politics legendary. She once said, "The most important thing you can do is to be yourself. People may want you to be something else, but you have to be you." Condoleezza Rice isn't just a trailblazer, she's a reminder that resilience and versatility can shatter ceilings. Who should we highlight next? Drop your suggestions in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and follow for more inspiring stories of unstoppable Black women.
Anyways, welcome back, guys, and thank you so much for watching all of that clips. And a lot of Americans are saying, what is a black woman going into the White House to go and do? And these are the ways of Americans. Even if you check in these particular videos that I stitch, some white folks are like, why a black woman? And this is to tell you, this is to tell you that no matter how hard these white folks are trying to play smart, no matter how hard they're trying to make it look like they do not need black people, they knew fully well that black Americans are the only people that understood the in-depth of how America is. They are the only people that understand the in and outs. Because why? They built America. They have been there. So there is no corner. There is no way. There is no how you can do anything without involving the presence of a black person. And you see why he is actually taking this woman. He is taking this woman so that at the end of the day, he can reclassify and then still take the glory to himself. I feel like these are who these white folks are. Now, let me make sense to me that the orange man will bring this woman. Now, if you look at the history of this woman, how this woman started from, because if you check the last clip I actually stitched, you can actually listen to her history, right? This woman is the only survivor, right? That literally that is still alive during the last Iran war, blah blah blah, right? Before every other peacemaking started happening and the rest of that. And after that, this woman has literally kept into her low profile, doing her things and going into, like, just going her way until she now finally appeared on Fox News going inside. But the thing is, as at now, it has not really been cleared of what they want in to go discuss. But honestly, you cannot tell me that they're not going to discuss about the Iranians, blah, 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 the war, blah, blah, blah. Now, have it at the back of your mind, like I said, that this war with Iran that has not even lasted for a month, they have overestimated what they've spent is over 10 billion naira that they've already spent, where a lot of people are here hungry, a lot of people cannot even afford house, a lot of people SNAP benefits is being stripped off, a lot of people tax paying money is being used to fund this Iran, blah blah blah. Last, a black woman. Last, black Americans. Last, black Americans. And let's also recall that Trump has literally been telling Iranians that this war will be over. And Iranians are saying, no, you cannot start something and you come and finish it. You people started it. We are the one that will say when we want the war to be over. Now they are getting to that point. If you look at his face and his posture now, right now, he is written all over him that he's scared. But you know one thing they will never do? They will never come admit that they're scared. They rather arranged a lot of Americans to still go waste their lives. And why would immigrants now be saying this kind of thing, and now we not still understand how the system of Americans work? It's quite alarming for me. It's quite alarming that I can go worship, idolize white folks that at the end of the day they do not owe anything. When it comes to the thinking, we do it for them. Although I've seen a lot of reports that, oh, this man is a diehard Republican, this black man is a diehard Republican, blah, 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 blah. I don't care about that. I care about for the fact that he have to call a black woman. The fact that for so long we have not spotted her after, I think they said she's the first black woman to be the secretary in the White House, blah, blah, blah. The fact that she have to appear with this critical time But anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section. I want to get your own opinion as well in the comment section. Do you think she was just going there for them to discuss something abstract that is not about the war in Iran, blah blah blah? Do you think some of those people that actually stitch their videos are not saying the right thing? Do you have more information? Let us know in the comment section. And I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you, liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, joining my membership. I really appreciate you guys. You guys are absolutely the best. Anyways, subscribe, like, comment, and share. And for disclaimers, educational purposes only. With that being said, with no further ado, I'd like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah.